So what are the issues with the raw data? I think all of you, I don't need to really explain it to you that raw data has inherently some issues. One of the biggest issue that we have seen is outliers. Sometimes you have wrong formats. Okay. Sometimes you might have missing values. Very common. You cannot say my data cannot have missing values. Sometimes you do have missing values in the data. You will have sometimes outliers in the data. Sometimes you have erroneous values. Sometimes you have default values. Instead of missing values in some of the tools like SQL or some of the servers, what they do is they fill it with the default values. Instead of saying null value, they fill it with default values 99999 and all that. If the original value of that variable is between 0 and 1, somewhere there is a missing value. Instead of that, if they put 99999, then the whole variable will go wrong when we do the analysis. Why? Because everything is between 0 and 1, but some values are going almost till 9999 and all that. Inconsistent values. Yes, the raw data does have some issues. Preparing data for analysis is as important as doing the analysis. In this particular session, we are going to discuss how do you explore the data. We have already seen exploring the data. We will quickly revisit it and see the exploration. Most importantly, we will see how to validate the data, and then finally, after while validating it, you will find some issues. How do you clean the data? This session, we will try to do it slightly differently. We will do it with a case study. What we will do is we will take some raw data set, some real raw data set. As it is, we will pick it up. Then what we will do, after downloading that data, we will start our exploration one by one, slowly exploring. Then we will do the validation. Okay. Then we will clean it. Maybe at the end of this session, we will have good understanding of the data. We have validated the data. We have cleaned the data for analysis. Okay. That is the case study that we are going to do. So in this case study, we are going to take one credit risk data. This data set has been shared by one bank. So the data contains around credit information, historical credit data of 150,000 borrowers. Okay. So we will take this data. The original problem statement is different. The original problem statement is build a credit risk model. Are you with me, all of you? The original problem statement is you take this data, build a credit risk model. But here we are not building the model. We will take this data, let's call this as raw data. We will take this raw data, clean the data, prepare it for analysis and just leave it. Later on, we will come to the model building. In this particular class, we are going to take this raw data, prepare it for analysis. And this is the data dictionary. Okay. Let me show you the actual source of this data. This was run as a Kaggle competition. Give me some credit. Even if you search for it, you will find out this has been one of the Kaggle competition. If you go to Kaggle, there you will find that around 10 years back or 9 years back, uh, this has been floated by one particular bank. They told that build a model, the best model wins around $5,000 if you build it. Take this data set, and this is the data. If you downloaded this data, cstraining.csv, we take this data set and then understand each and every variable, try to clean the variables and stop there. Later on model building, we will revisit this particular example once again at later point of time. We will build the model. During that time, we will take the cleaned version of the data. Anyway, we have discussed the cleaned version, cleaning. We'll take the cleaned version of this data set and build a model on top of it. Okay. This is the data that has been considered by us for doing this particular problem. Okay. You can read on this extra business related tasks. What is the problem statement? What is the output, input expected? Here, I'll quickly give you an idea on what is this data set all about. What are all the columns in this data set? This is known as give me some credit data, or simple words, you call this as credit risk data. Hey, by the way, do you know what are credit risk models? Credit risk models. I mean, I'm just using it as if everyone knows here. Do you know what are credit risk models? Do you understand what exactly credit risk models do? These are the models that are used by banks. If you apply for a loan, they will check something called your credit score. Credit risk models are the ones that will give us finally the credit score. Do you know what is the bureau that is there in India that is used for getting the credit score? Yeah, identify who will be the defaulters. Yeah, that is a perfect way of saying it. Yeah. So in India, CIBIL is the one that will give us the credit score. In fact, if you apply for some of the loans or some places, I don't know whether you observed or not, they will say we have to check your CIBIL score. If you do not meet the CIBIL score criteria, then you will not get the loan. You will not get so and so. Have you ever heard of this? CIBIL score is very important. Earlier it was not. Nowadays, everything is related to this. We are going to build one such model. What does this CIBIL score say? Whether a person is risky or not risky. If a person is having higher CIBIL score, that means he is a good person. If a person is having low CIBIL score, he is a risky person. Okay. So how those models are built? First of all, we have to start with the historical data, and then the models are built on the historical credit data. Let us check this particular data set and then proceed further.